Hi guys, this is Deb with Bumblin' Acres Homestead in Memphis, Indiana, and this will be our first YouTube video. Joe got a wild hair up his butt last night to start a YouTube channel and a Facebook page, so here we go. We're fairly new to this homesteading thing. Joe is completely new. I used to have 1.25 acres down in South Florida where I'm originally from, where I kept chickens and had a large garden and some fruit trees. But here we are on 4.12 acres in Memphis, Indiana. We bought this property back in mid-April. It had not been maintained well for several years after the prior owner became a widow, and so we have a lot of work to do. Promise to keep it real. This is me most days. Gym shorts, some muck boots, and the property is in flux. We've been taking down a bunch of trees, and our chainsaw broke. So this weekend we will finish cleaning them up. So you will see stuff all over the place. Some days I wear makeup. Some days I actually wear something other than gym clothes. I'll keep it real with you either way. Our life is not super neat and clean. We have a million projects going on. We don't live in some fancy picture perfect farmhouse. It's 4.12 acres, is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath manufactured home, and we love it. It's our little slice of heaven. So we started this channel to just kind of show you what we're doing. So I'll take you on a brief. So we've got a 2-car plus workshop garage, and I'll just kind of take you on our property. Here are those trees I was talking about that we took down that now we've got to wait. This is some of our flock. We have 15 grown chickens. 6 of them are already laying. The rest of them have just started to lay or in the process of laying. We've got 3 guinea hens and 4 pain-in-the-butt ducks. Still not sure if I want to keep the ducks or eat the ducks because they are dirty and foul up everybody's water. That is the shed that was on the property that I've converted to a chicken coop, and I'll take you on a tour of that real quick. Back here is kind of our entertainment area that we're working on. A storm just came through and blew a lot of stuff over. That's where the original garage sat on the property until the foundation cracked. So the guineas have been great because there were ticks all over this property when we bought it. That's Harley, the almost 2-year-old Australian Shepherd and lover of running. I've got this shade sail up just to kind of give some shade to the birds when it is super hot. And this is the shed that I converted. I'm in the process of building some walls in here using pallets, and then I'll frame out a door to kind of create a storage area for their food. We got blessed the other day with 14 free chicks at a local farm store because somebody had mixed a bunch of them up. Now, unfortunately, since yesterday, 3 have died, and I'm not sure why. There weren't any signs of pasty butt. These are the nesting boxes I created, and this is their roost that I made using just wood around our property, and just cut a door out using a Sawzall. So we've got a decently sized, very shaded and wooded area in the back, bordering a large field in the back. And eventually we will turn that into some pastures for pigs. This is the barn that sits on the property. It's been here for over 100 years, and there's a lot of work to do. Some days I think it would be better to knock it down rather than to continue the work of trying to clean it out and rehab it. There was a lot of old wood left sitting in there, which at first I was really excited about. I figured I was going to build myself a farmhouse table out of the wood, use it for projects. Well, I got about 4 boards down and discovered that it was ate up with carpenter ants, and it has been slow going to move the wood out. There's a lot of junk in here. It has been abandoned for a long time. There is some tin missing from the ceiling, so it's going to be a while till we can fix it up. Also, the ground from years of just neglect is very uneven. There's areas like there that make me nervous because there's a hole in the ground and the ground is kind of soft. So that is a project that is probably going to take me at least a year amongst all the other projects. Now there is a man-made pond on the property, and we'll walk towards that. And unfortunately they didn't do any kind of sealing of the pond when they dug it, so it only holds about 2.5 of the 7 or so feet of water that it should hold. Part of that was that they just let the trees grow up around the pond, and it created fissures in the ground. Now Joe has spent the last several months cutting a ton of wood out. You can hear all the toads jumping into the water. The water retention has gotten a lot better. Harley loves to jump in the water and chase the toads, and just in general go for a morning swim, then run like the dickens. So there's a lot of trees we have pulled out of here. This was completely surrounded. I'll walk towards the garden area that I've created, and we're expanding that. We do back to Eden style gardening, and we're trying to practice permaculture as we go along. These trees here had a bunch of tiny cherries on them about a month and a half ago. They're really tasty, but not big enough for anything real good. You'll see a bit of where we've taken down more trees. This is the big wild berry patch with blackberries that I'm going to have to dig out. They're just covered in thorns. They've been allowed to get overgrown, and they're not very prolific. Here's my garden area. Got a bunch of pumpkins and melons going, tomatoes, which it looks like the birds are attacking before they can turn green. Trying to establish some asparagus patches. Oh no, and it looks like the birds have destroyed a bunch of the tomatoes that I was waiting to enjoy. Lots of eating of my tomatoes. I'm going to have to fence this area in for sure. We've been getting some decent zucchini. The beans have not been very prolific, unfortunately. We finally got some rain last night. You see some beautiful zucchini flowers. And there's one of my melons that's growing. Getting to a decent size. And over here is another bed that we put in the back to garden, Eden garden style. We laid down a bunch of cardboard that we got wet, then topped it with wood chips, then topped that with compost, then more wood chips, then more compost. When we first moved in, I planted several apple trees, a peach tree, and a cherry tree. And we're slowly filling in that orchard area with more wood chips as well. And we're going to be planting more fruit trees. Next door is an elk farm. So it's a little janky looking next door, but we don't mind because we get to watch the beautiful elk and we don't have to hear neighbors too often. And then we've got a large area up front where we're going to run meat birds in chicken tractors. And right there is a very old pear tree which is just overladen with pears, and next year will need to be pruned way back. You'll see as we walk around some gutters laying on the ground. We just had all the gutters replaced, and we asked them to leave us the old gutters because we're going to use them to set up rainwater collection on the barn and on the sheds. But that just happened the other day, and I've got to drag them to a better place. I'm going to show you guys all the pears on this tree. It's just insane. So there's just a ton of pears. You see how it has bowed down the branches. And that's Falcor, my 10-year-old golden retriever chow mix. He is a sweetie pie. He is the best dog ever. There's some more pears. Anyhow, that is a brief look at our mini farm. And I promise the video skills will get better. I'm just kind of walking around with a selfie stick right now. And we hope you enjoy following along with us as we learn what to do to raise our own food, to be more sustainable, and to take better care of our health. Have a great day.